This is an eastern white pine. Now this is a middle-aged tree, probably just over 100, maybe about 80 feet tall. Most people that might see this here, born in southern Ontario now, might think this is a large white pine, but actually in their mature state, here on the shores of Lake Erie, back before about 1840, you would have found trees up to 3 times this height and diameter. There were trees that were harvested from the shores of Lake Erie in 1840 for the British Navy that were 220 to 240 feet tall. Now, because of generational amnesia and because we see the shifting baseline, we're born into a place and we think that this is the norm. But back in their mature state, these were trees that rivaled the Douglas firs and the western hemlocks of the West. We would have had massive forests that would have looked like cathedrals, much like Vancouver Island, about 200 years ago. Now, you can still find some of these old growth groves scattered around southern Ontario, some up in the north, not quite as tall as they would have been in the south 200 years ago, but still beautiful. These trees provided nesting habitat for eagles, hawks, and they provided a tall overstory tree that could become a multi-layered food production system in the context of food forest design. You can use the needles from this tree to make a nutrient-dense tea, and you can use the needles for basket weaving, and you don't even have to harm the tree so you can harvest the needles. Here you've got a wind-fallen branch. So I can just pick this up off the ground. It's still bright green, still full of all the phytonutrients and medicinal compounds for making teas and other things. And you can use these for basket weaving and a number of other benefits. Now this tree is amazing if you incorporate it into a regenerative garden or food forest. So if you want to learn more about this tree in the context of that, you can look in the description section and find an in-depth article on white pine and other pines.